we've been covering these hearings this entire week. Today, really a busy day. Not only did we have that plea deal that went down, we also had some pretty compelling testimony coming from one of the state's witnesses. But again, this is now the sixth defendant to enter a negotiated guilty plea. Tonight, a sixth defendant charged in the sweeping gang indictment case involving hip-hop superstar Young Thug is headed home after striking a plea deal with prosecutors. 32-year-old Antonio Sumlin, who's known on the streets as Obama, was given 15 years probation after pleading guilty to multiple felony charges, including conspiracy to violate the RICO Act and participation in criminal street gang activity.
After revoking the bond and probation of a star witness in Young Thug's Atlanta criminal trial last week, Fulton County prosecutors now want to revoke the probation of another witness who hasn't yet testified. According to a Tuesday court filing, prosecutors are seeking to revoke the probation of Antonio Sumlin, aka Obama, on allegations he committed a shoplifting violation of his release. Sumlin had already pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations (RICO) Act, and 2 counts of conspiracy to commit a crime and participation in criminal street gang activity. Sumlin was one of the original defendants arrested and charged in May 2022, along with Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug. Sumlin was sentenced to 15 years of probation. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Paige Reese Whitaker has ordered Sumlin to appear in her courtroom.
A new twist in the long-lasting trial of rapper Young Thug as Fulton County prosecutors try to prove that he is involved in a criminal street gang. The state now wants to revoke another witness's probation and send him to jail. Atlanta News First Yasmina Alston live at the Fulton County Courthouse with the latest on all of this. Yasmina?
Yeah, and we haven't heard from Antonio Sumlin on this stand yet, but we have seen the judge in this case revoke another witness's probation just last week. Just filed in Fulton County as the Young Thug trial continues. Prosecutors now trying to revoke another witness's probation. His name is Antonio Sumlin, aka Obama. He pled guilty in the YSL trial and was on probation, but court documents show he violated his release based on shoplifting allegations in DeKalb County. Sumlin has yet to testify. He was one of the original defendants arrested in 2022, along with rapper Young Thug. Just last week, presiding Judge Paige Whitaker revoked 5 years of Antonio Sledge's probation for changing his testimony.
Okay. All right. Well, I find there to have been a violation as alleged, and again, even discounting the item number 8. What is the state's recommendation?
In full candor to the court, Your Honor, I'm going to leave it. The state is going to leave it in the full discretion of the court. Your Honor is fully aware of the conditions. Your Honor witnessed the testimony and how it affected the trial of the case, and I'm going to let Your Honor be the full steward of deciding what the penalty should be as it relates to all of the time that Mr. Sledge has remaining on probation.
All right. Well, I know that at least I believe in the petition for revocation, the request is that the entire 30 years be revoked. Is that right?
Not the request.
Oh, you're just telling me that's what he has at this point, although it can't be all of it, right? I mean, he's been on probation for at least a couple of years, and did he serve it? What's left?
It just started on December 8th of 2023. I think he got credit for the time. I think he was in for 2 years, so I have 26 and change, 25 and change.
22.
My bad.
The exact number. That would be 27 years, 7 months, and 8 days.
All right. All right. Thank you. Anything else from either side?
No, Your Honor, nothing further from the state.
Okay.
Your Honor, if you'll please the court. I understand the court's ruling that there is a violation. Ultimately, I guess to some degree, while it's not clearly akin to a substantive versus technical violation of probation, it is a non-violent, non-new offense kind of violation. And I would say if the court is going to violate my client, it would be more germane to treat it as a technical violation. We have expressed to the court different thoughts and reasons for the way the testimony came out. We don't know what effect, if any, one way good or one way bad, that has had. But in terms of his violation, I would ask the court treat it more as a technical. He has one grandchild on the way, one that just came early this year with Ms. Shaquilla Freeman. So the point is, he has been staying out of the way. He's been complying with probation. I would ask the court to maybe consider if you want to put more restrictions and make his probation much more of a, not just something he's on, but something that now has more teeth to it, because he's been working. He's been taking care of his family. He's staying out of trouble. He's turned that corner. And literally, it was always our hope he wouldn't have to come in and testify. And there was a reason the state allowed this plea to go forward so that he could step away. And in doing so, if you recall, you may have remember from his testimony, by no fault of his, he was a victim of a crime where he was shot multiple times and had to recover from that. So we would ask the court to consider some restrictions first as opposed to custody. And if you do go with custody, we would ask to consider it as a technical type of violation, not a substantive violation in which you would be authorized to give him an even greater sentence. So we would leave it in the discretion of the court, but we're asking again for a non-custodial revocation punishment.
Okay, well, I don't view it as a technical violation or akin to a technical violation, considering the solemn oath that he took when he said that he understood every term within the plea agreement, factual acknowledgments, and sentencing acknowledgments, and understood and, in fact, orally answered that he understood when both asked by the prosecutor and the court at his plea hearing that a failure to abide by any of the terms would constitute a violation of the agreement, and he was notified that the entirety of his probation could be revoked. I do appreciate the fact that this particular violation is a non-violent violation, but I also appreciate the fact that some of the bias that have occurred include the fact that there is just not a proper regard for the judicial system and the seriousness with which an oath in court needs to be taken. I actually view this much more akin to perjury, frankly, than a technical violation. And the sentence for perjury is up to 10 years. I am going to revoke 5 years of Mr. Sledge's probation. And Mr. Sledge, I am sympathetic to the fact that you have generally stayed out of trouble, and I want to commend you for that. And I really hope that this revocation doesn't set you back, but we've got to take seriously the court system. So that's the sentence of the court. I find there to have been that violation. I'm revoking 5 years.
He will be continued on probation, Your Honor?
And reinstate the balance.
Thank you.
I think y'all knew when you came in here that this was a strong possibility. So, no, I'm sorry. All right, court is adjourned.
Sledge was head of security for the YSL record label. In this lengthy trial, prosecutors are trying to prove that YSL is a criminal street gang. Defense attorneys argue it is simply the name of a record label. Meanwhile, the twists and turns continue in the trial. Tuesday morning, the Supreme Court of Georgia reversed the contempt order of Young Thug's attorney Brian Steele, who was taken into custody back in June for not telling the court how he learned of a meeting between then-Judge Ural Glanville and prosecutors. And this is all a lot to keep up with. And while all of these background changes are going on, the jury is still in the courtroom listening to witness testimony.